UFC Fight Night Rozenstruik versus Almeida is this weekend, and guys, today I have for you 4 fighters that I am going to be cheering for. I'm not going to do predictions, anything like that. These are fighters that I strictly want to win, and I will tell you why I'm cheering for them in this video. We're going to talk about all of them in just a second. Before we get into the video, I do want to say hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with too many YouTube channels. Let's talk about the fight night. So, the first fighter that I will be cheering for is Cody Stamann. He's taking on Douglas Silva de Andrade. And the reason that I'm cheering for Cody Stamann here, it's not necessarily that I like Cody Stamann more than Douglas Silva de Andrade. I like both fighters. I think both fighters are great. But these two are fighters that have been struggling to get a solid win streak in the bantamweight division. The bantamweight division is the toughest division in the history of MMA right now. The UFC's bantamweight division is better than every single division ever in the history. Cody Stamann, and the reason that I'm cheering for him is because he has been taking on the toughest fighters like Merab Dvalishvili, Said Nurmagomedov, and he's only 33 years old. He has a very bright future ahead of him, and he's not like getting dominated in any of these fights. He is taking the toughest fights. He's doing well. He's just coming up short, and now he is on a 2-fight win streak. The reason that I'm cheering for him against Douglas Silva de Andrade is because Douglas is 37 at this point, and he's at the tail end of his career. He doesn't have a lot left to prove, and I don't believe that if de Andrade wins this fight, he might be able to get some other wins in the bantamweight division, but I don't see him having a future as a title holder. Cody Stamann has finally put together a solid 2-fight win streak in recent times after really struggling, okay? I want to see him win, and I want to see him continue to break into the top 15 and perhaps get wins, maybe over rematches of these fighters, because we keep watching Cody Stamann, and he's getting a little bit better each time that we see him. I'm going to cheer for Cody Stamann. I hope he gets the win over Douglas Silva de Andrade. Unfortunately, I am picking against him in my official predictions. I made a whole predictions video talking about this. I don't know if it came out yet, but stay tuned for that. I'm slightly leaning towards Andrade, but I am cheering for Cody Stamann to win this fight. The next fighter that I am cheering for in this UFC Fight Night, Jailton Almeida versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik card, is Anthony Smith. I'm cheering for Anthony Smith over Johnny Walker. Now, Johnny Walker, it is nice to see him come back after such a little bit of a rough spot in his career that he's had. But speaking of rough spots, Anthony Smith has been dealing with injuries, and he keeps going on these short little KO streaks that it's like, okay, Anthony Smith's back. Anthony Smith is ready to go, but then he suffers a horrible loss against a guy like Magomed Ankalaev. Absolutely no shame in losing that, but Anthony Smith keeps doing so well and keeps almost getting there and then comes up short before he wants to get another title shot. He came up short against John Jones, showed what a real great dog he has in him, and I just really hope that he gets that another shot at the title fight, because I don't mind his chances to win against Jamal Hill. Unfortunately, I like Jamal Hill too, so I would even probably cheer for Jamal Hill against Anthony Smith if they ended up fighting, but I do want to see Anthony Smith get to that title. He is a UFC vet. He is, I don't know, let me check how old he is at this point. I know he's getting up there. Yeah, he's 34 years old at this point, and he doesn't have, with the miles this dude has had, and we've already seen him slow down just a little bit. He's getting injured more. I hope that he puts together a win streak, because it almost seems like it's a now or never spot for Anthony Smith to be in. I want to see him win against Johnny Walker, have a fantastic KO, get a fight against a top contender, because he's number 6 right now. So all he needs is to fight somebody at the top, maybe somebody like Jan Blachowicz. But the problem is, man, I like so many guys in that division. Jan Blachowicz is one of my favorite fighters, so I would actually cheer for Jan against Anthony Smith. The point is, I want to see Anthony Smith get a title fight. I want to see him get that title fight and capture a win. I want to see him retire with that. He's been one of those fighters who has been in there forever, switching divisions, taking on the toughest guys there is to take on. I want to see him succeed. I'm cheering for Anthony Smith in this fight. I hope he gets a nice knockout, fight a guy that's not Jan Blachowicz, because I love Jan Blachowicz, and then get a title fight, and then win that title. Will it happen? Probably not, but I can cheer for it. I can hope Anthony Smith wins. Let's move on to the next fighter that I want to talk about, though. We have Tim Means versus Alex Morono. I really like both guys, okay? Really like them. I'm a Tim Means fan, but I'm cheering for Alex Morono in this fight. Alex Morono has been on a very quiet win streak, and the guy has been taking short notice fights. He's been doing the UFC favors. He has been taking on very tough fighters. He looked great against Santiago Ponzinibbio the last time out. He was looking fantastic every single time that we see him. And you know what? He got caught. That's it. That's the end of the day. I believe he was a better fighter that night. But nothing to take away from Santiago Ponzinibbio. He got the KO win. looked good. But I do want to see Alex Morono continue to succeed, especially since Tim Means is having a very spotty record at this point in his career. I believe I need to take a look at his record right now. He is on a 2-fight losing streak, but he did fight against Max Griffin, so you really want to, a tough fight. Could have been on a 1-fight win streak here if you want to really take a look at Tim Means. But at the end of the day, Tim Means, there is no chance that he gets back to that title. He's just at that point in his career, and he's taken fights. He's looking great so far. He's had a little bit of a career resurgence, but still, at the end of the day, he's on a 2-fight loss streak, and I don't see too much of a future for him as much as I do like Tim Means. Alex Morono, though, I want to see him get up there and fight the contenders at welterweight because he's been looking better. Like I said, before his last loss, you could take a look at it. He has been on an insane streak. He's been looking great, and every single time we see him, he looks better. I can't wait to see how he looks against Tim Means. I think he will perform in this fight. I'm actually betting on this fight, but I want to see him keep going. I like Alex Morono. The dude is a crowd pleaser, and I wish nothing but success for him. I like Alex Morono a lot. Hope he wins against Tim Means, but I do like Tim Means as well, so this will hurt a little bit. Now, for the final fight, and the fight that I will be most invested in this entire card, I want to talk about Matt Brown versus Court McGee. I'm cheering for Matt Brown. Matt Brown is one of my favorite fighters in the history of the UFC. He's responsible for me becoming a huge fan of the UFC. There are a very select few fighters. You want to talk about Matt Brown, and my heart was really tearing apart because Carlos Condit was one of those guys too. Matt Brown, I have been watching forever. Since I got in the UFC, he's been one of my favorite fighters, and he always has been. Unfortunately, he hasn't. He's 42 years old now, and he's not the same fighter that he once was. I hope that he doesn't continue fighting. I want to see him. He's fighting another legend, Court McGee, but I just don't have that same attachment to Court McGee. I love watching Matt Brown fight. I love him as a person, and I love watching his fights. He's responsible for so much screaming of mine over the years. You know what I mean? Been in some insane fights. I hope that he could just get one of those signature Matt Brown elbow knockouts, flatten Court McGee, walk around the octagon with his hands in the air, and then call it quits. Matt Brown, he's been slowing down. However, he still looks okay. So the potential for him to retire on a win, and we see so many guys not do this. The potential for him to retire off of a win is there, and we don't see that a lot with a lot of fighters. I hope to God, and he hasn't been talking about retiring. We know it's coming. I just hope that's what happens. I want to see him go out on a win. I don't want to see him go out like a guy like Frankie Edgar. And if he continues fighting, it's very visible that Matt Brown is not the same dude that he once was. I want to see him ride into the sunset. I want to see him get a great win. I want to see him call it quits. That's what I hope happens. Matt Brown is one of my favorite fighters of all time, and I hope that he gets the win this weekend. This is where I will leave it up to you guys, though. Please let me know down below if there are any specific fighters that you are cheering for this weekend and why. Unfortunately, like I said, if you want to talk about all the fighters that I've been cheering for this fight, man, if you want to talk about Matt Brown versus Court McGee, I'm picking Court McGee to win the fight. Alex Morono, I actually am picking on betting on that fight, but Anthony Smith versus Johnny Walker, close fight, but if you had a gun in my head, I'd be picking Johnny Walker to win. It's a little bit of tough the way that I'm going to look at it here, so my predictions are going to go against my heart for this one. But guys, again, let me know what you think down below. Let me know what fighters you're cheering for. I would love to talk about it down below. And thank you so much for watching this video. On the screen right now, you'll have 2 fantastic videos to check out. Check them out. They're great from the Clenbat channel. I will see you there. Take care.